It happened on one of those winter mornings where the cold doesn't bite so much as it seeps in quiet, invisible like the way some people look at you without ever really seeing you. And on that particular morning, in a neighborhood where Range Rovers parked beneath bare trees and every storefront smelled like eucalyptus and overpricing, a little boy named Jalen walked into a coffee shop holding a wallet he'd stitched together by hand, and walked straight into something far colder than weather. Jalen was 9, smart beyond his years, the kind of kid who listens more than he talks, who remembers what you like in your coffee even when you forget to say it out loud. That morning, he wasn't headed to school, not yet. His mom, Nicole, had just come home from a 12-hour shift at the hospital, her eyes ringed with exhaustion, her voice soft with the kind of tired only a single mother who juggles 2 jobs can understand. She told their neighbor she just needed 10 minutes to lie down. Didn't ask for anything. She never did. But Jalen had heard her the night before, a small cappuccino, cinnamon on top. God, I missed that, and tucked it away in his mind like a gift waiting for the right moment. So he counted his coins, literally dug out the $5 bill he'd earned helping Mr. Bryant shovel the steps last week, and walked the 6 blocks to Brew and Press, the fanciest cafe within walking distance. He'd passed it dozens of times, glassed walls, fancy stools, a sign in thin gold letters that made even the word coffee sound expensive. He knew it wasn't where kids like him usually went. But he also knew his mom deserved something better than whatever was in their kitchen that morning. When the door chimed and he stepped in, everything slowed. The music didn't stop, but it felt like it faded, like someone turned the warmth down just a few notches. The kind of silence that pretends it isn't silence, but you feel it just the same. There were 3 people in line. 2 women in yoga pants whispering over a laptop. A man in a pea coat checking stocks on his phone. And behind the counter, a woman with silver blonde hair pulled tight, nails manicured into tiny knives, arranging drinks onto a tray like she was preparing them for royalty. She looked up, saw him, didn't smile. Jalen waited his turn. He didn't push forward, didn't wave or talk over anyone. Just stood there holding his little burlap wallet in both hands, stitched with thick black thread and a tiny patch on the corner that said J in blue felt. His fingers were trembling just slightly from the colder, maybe from something else he hadn't named yet. When it was finally his turn, he stepped forward and said, soft but clear, "Excuse me, I'd like to get 1 cappuccino, please. With cinnamon." The barista froze like she'd heard a dog bark instead of a child speak. "Where are your parents?" she asked, loud enough that the women at the laptop looked up. Jalen blinked. "My mom's at home. I came to." "Did someone give you that money?" She cut him off, not asking, accusing. "You can't just walk in here and bother customers." "I'm not bothering anyone," he said, a little quieter now, not because he was scared, but because he'd already learned that raising your voice when you're small and black doesn't make you louder, it makes you dangerous. She leaned in a bit, eyes flicking to the wallet. "We don't sell to children, especially not when the money looks questionable." A man in a blazer turned his head. The women had stopped whispering. No one stepped in. No one said, "Let the kid order." Jalen's fingers curled tighter around his wallet. He stood his ground, chin up like his mom always taught him, "Never let the world tell you your worth, baby. You show it." But even that was hard now, because her eyes weren't looking at him, they were looking through him, past him, like he was a shadow someone forgot to sweep up. "This isn't McDonald's, sweetheart," she said, sugar in her tone, poison underneath. "I understand," he said, eyes still fixed on the counter. "I just wanted to get coffee for my mom." She didn't even blink. "Did you find that money, or did you take it?" "I didn't take anything." She laughed, a sharp little puff of disbelief. "I've worked here a long time. You're not the first little boy to walk in here thinking he's running a game." "I'm not lying," he said, barely more than a whisper. "That's enough," she snapped, reaching under the counter. "You're making people uncomfortable. Do you know what that means?" He shook his head. "It means you're not welcome here." And then she reached for the walkie. "Security, I've got a situation at the front. Minor, unaccompanied. Possibly handling questionable cash." He couldn't move. Couldn't speak. Couldn't figure out how kindness had turned into this. His hands shook now, not from cold, but shame, the kind that sticks to your ribs long after you've gone home. That's when the door opened again. It wasn't loud. No dramatic wind gust. No screech of shoes on tile. Just the sound of heels measured, precise in a voice. Step away from my son. It wasn't shouted. Didn't need to be. Every head turned like it was a courtroom, and the judge had just walked in. Nicole Carter didn't need a badge to command space, but today, she had one. She walked straight past the stunned faces and frozen stares, right up to Jalen, and placed a hand on his shoulder. He didn't look up at first, that was too locked in, but her touch. It anchored him, made the room feel real again. "I'm his mother," she said, her voice like smooth stone. "Now tell me, who thought it was okay to threaten a child with security over a $5 bill?" The barista tried to recalibrate. "Ma'am, he came in alone. And the money looked. You profiled him." Nicole cut in, eyes unblinking. "Don't insult us both by pretending otherwise." "That's not fair," the woman said, trying to look busy behind the counter. "No, what's not fair is forcing a child to stand in front of adults who treat him like a criminal for doing something kind." She knelt beside Jalen. "Are you okay?" He nodded, though his voice caught. "I just wanted to bring you coffee." Her hand brushed his cheek. "You did nothing wrong. And I'm proud of you." Then she stood taller than before, it seemed, and turned to the entire cafe. "My name is Nicole Carter. I'm with the FBI. And this boy, this young man you all watched be dismissed, ignored, or accused, he's my son. And he walked in here with kindness. That was enough to get him treated like a threat." Murmurs swept the room. Phones lowered. Eyes darted away. The security guard, who'd been halfway through the door, stepped back. Nicole turned to the barista again. "You called security on a child for being black, for being alone, for holding money that didn't look new enough for your comfort. I want your manager. Now." The barista muttered something. "He's not here." "Then call him. Because we're not going anywhere." 10 minutes later, a man in his 30s showed up, tie crooked, face pale. He took one look at Nicole's badge and another at Jalen, and suddenly his tone shifted like someone flipped a switch labeled panic. "I'm so sorry, ma'am. This doesn't reflect our values." She stopped him. "Your values are what happened when no one's watching. And today, what happened was discrimination." She laid out exactly what would happen next: footage preserved, complaints filed, formal letters sent with her name and badge number attached. Jalen sat quietly beside her, still holding that wallet, still holding onto the silence of a room that had tried to erase him. But now he wasn't shrinking. Now he was watching. And a week later, when the apology letter came in the mail, clean font, careful wording read every line. And then he pinned it to the fridge, right next to his drawing. A boy and a woman, standing tall in front of a big building. Above them, he'd written, "You don't have to be big to be brave." Nicole saw it as she passed through the kitchen. "You decided to keep it up?" Jalen nodded. "It reminds me I belong. Even there." She smiled. Not just as a mother, but as someone who's seen too many people forget their own worth. "Yes, baby. You do." And the next time he walked into any place, even if the room got quiet, even if the stares came, Fazda walked in with his head up. Not because of the badge in his mom's pocket, but because of the voice in his chest that finally believed it. If this story moved something in you, we want to hear about it. Have you ever witnessed quiet injustice? Have you ever spoken up or stayed silent and wished you hadn't? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about what belonging really means and who gets to decide it.